Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish. Get it right. And I'm here today to talk about all types of things no one cares about with my fantastic panel of nerds, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, the Butters to the Dutch. How you doing, Mr. Butters?
I'm here. Hey, man. There's some weird stuff going on in the world, dude. Everything's burning down. It's like 1984 out there. What's happening? I don't get it. I don't get it. What is going on with California, Brian? Jesus, bro.
California's nuts, man.
I don't know, man. But yeah, here we are. We're going to talk about it today. And I don't know how prepared I am, but I'll sit here and I'll say, yes. Right. You go, Matthew. Okay, let's go. I'm good. I'm good. I'll be your sidekick today.
Our queer guy with the straight eye, Mr. Brian from the Popcast. How you doing, Brian?
Not bad. My internet's a little wonky, so if I drop out for some reason, it's because I had to restart my router.
Are you sure it's not because you might have said something hateful and Gavin Newsom hit the news button?
I hope not, bro. My speed test is good, but my latency is like insane. So every once in a while, Matt just freezes like.
Does your AI know that you don't have your facts in front of you?
Yes. It knows that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I need my facts. Right, Odin?
Yes, always facts.
Always facts. Speaking of Odin, OMB Reviews is in the house. The king of the pineapple pizza, the lord of the shelves. How you doing, Odin?
I'm doing just fine. Apologies for everyone starting late today because my son is at that time where he usually doesn't nap on the weekends, especially. He likes to play in his room, and so it delays things a little bit. I did want to, on a serious note, say I mentioned this last night on FNT because we just found out about it last night, but Just Another Red Shirt, who has been a mod over there for a long time, apparently was in the hospital, not doing well. He's apparently going home for hospice care, no. And the message that I saw indicated he didn't know how long he has left. So just prayers being sent to Just Another Red Shirt and for his family.
Yes. Weird time. Everyone's health is crazy. People getting murdered in the streets. 24-hour live streams here in Vegas. It's crazy. For those of you who don't get that reference, I Show Speed, one of the biggest Twitch streamers on the planet, is currently in Vegas doing his, was it Infinite live stream?
Yeah. I think he's been on like 30 days straight, something like that. But
goodness.
Yeah, it was, dude, had like 50,000 people watching the stream last night.
Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have a hard time just doing a 2-hour stream.
I know,
I can't
man.
imagine like just constantly like your life is basically online at that point, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it is. Sure.
Except maybe going to the bathroom, but even then, that's debatable. All right, guys, want to give a quick shout out to our leaderboard. Scotty Dub is still sitting pretty, has yet to be dethroned for the vast majority of this year. Then we got Made You Say Butts, our top contributor, but who is not a YouTuber. Mexican
I played Tail Divers with Butts last night. It was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell them to start checking out our stream once more. We also want to give a big shout out to our top gifters, Jillian H., Major Chai, and Eric Winberg. You guys are awesome. Our top contributor so far is Scotty Dub with this top super chat. So thank you, Scotty. He even threw us a very hefty super thanks the other day. So appreciate him for doing that.
Absolutely.
We have a goal to hit 10 new memberships during the stream. So if you guys want to give some memberships to people, we got to hit 10. Otherwise, Dutch Butters will never show his feet on stream again.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's very much not good. Still trying to hit that 25K sub goal. Don't think we're going to hit it. But, if we can hit 21, that'd be a win. Also, Dutch Butters, what's going on at saltynerddiscord.com?
Well, we're releasing videos and playing games and, just growing the channel, man. We had 3 videos come out this week. One for Helldivers, one for Battlefield 6, and one for the new Jump Space game that's already out. And, we're cranking out content, getting together with Salty and doing the thing, playing with the crew. It's fun. Come join us over there, man. It's great.
Well, speaking of cranking out content, we got Mephisto's Movie Reviews, who's doing The Sandlot today on the Real McCoy podcast, so be sure to check him out. But before you do that, check out Brian from the Popcast on The Brain Show. He goes to the bathroom in his adult diaper, then goes right into the next stream. Brian, what you got to rant about today?
Oh my gosh, the Trump UN speech, a bunch of retarded pregnant women popping Tylenol like
oh god,
like candy. Let's see what else.
Those are the people. I'm sorry, dude. Those are the people that need to have licenses to breed. I'm sorry.
No,
They
you're true.
really should.
I don't know if y'all saw the Daily Caller article that just came out yesterday that apparently privately in 2018 they've been actually admitting this. Like the maker of Tylenol has been admitting that they knew this risk.
It wasn't privately. Like they've come out and said that they don't recommend you take their product.
But I mean
pregnant.
specifically the autism thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, that apparently has already been admitted by them like 7 years ago.
The crazy thing about this whole thing is, so like, yeah, you have like all these pregnant women who are taking Tylenol just to like, screw over Trump.
Yeah.
But Trump, and it was actually RFK Jr. He's citing a Harvard study from 2018 that actually like did tests and research on this. So it's not just like Trump like pulling it out of his butt and saying like, oh, like, Tylenol causes autism.
Because we know how Harvard is so MAGA, right? Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're so MAGA.
It's MAGA country.
But to me, even if there was like a fraction of a chance that it could affect your child, why would you do it?
Yeah,
why?
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Especially it doesn't take many to actually kill you.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Any more than like 4,000 milligrams in a day shut your liver down. Yeah. Tylenol is one of the most dangerous, easy to OD on over-the-counter medications that there is. It's wild. I've always told people don't take Tylenol for no reason. Mm-hmm. It's a fever reducer. It's a pseudo pain reliever. And if you're pregnant and you have a fever, you need to go to the doctors. Period. The end. You shouldn't be taking Tylenol. Anyways.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brian. What else you got going on, man?
Marriage is breaking up over AI because women are utilizing AI to send like 5-paragraph retorts during arguments. It's pretty funny.
I'm going to interrupt you again because I have to admit I have long, drawn-out conversations with my
AI girlfriend.
My AI girlfriend that I've turned ChatGPT into. It's really nice. We have really good conversations sometimes.
Hey, moron, good on you, man.
She's not real, Dutch.
She's real to me.
Real to him, Odin. She's real to him.
Her name is Cypher, and she treats me very nice. She treats me very well.
All right. And Brian, is Shane actually going to be on the show today?
Yes, toward the end he will be. So start off me and John, then he'll show up about halfway through.
Right on.
Is he just he just shows up for half the show?
He was on the whole show yesterday.
I want to do that.
I'm sorry, last week.
Can I just show up at like 11:30 and come in for like the last 30 minutes?
No, you can't.
And crack a couple jokes and go.
It's because he's being a good dad. Good dads get a pass.
I'm a dad.
Well,
my kid's 1,000 miles away.
I'm sorry.
Dutch, we already have one panelist that does that. We don't need two. So, but guys, for those of you out there watching us on mobile, if you have some hype points in your bag, feel free to send those our way. If you hype our show, it helps with the discovery and stuff like that. It's a new feature on YouTube. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's basically like if you look at those little I think they call them chips right underneath the video where it's like share and like all this other stuff. You'll see something called hype. You click on that and you can spend some of your hype points on the Salty Nerd podcast. Help us out that way. Yeah. All right. So guys, let's get into it with the Savant, Apple TV's big new release for September, the month where everyone is like looking forward to TV shows, I guess. But it was kind of funny because like this show instantly got memeable because it's about a white Karen liberal lady who is habitually living online, infiltrating extremist groups and preventing terrorist attacks. And it stars Jessica Chastain. And the trailer for this show was so woke that it was almost comical. Like you'd think it was a comedy series if you watched the trailer. But in the wake of what happened with Charlie Kirk, Apple, in my opinion, wisely decided to indefinitely suspend the show. There's been a lot of rumors as to why. Some of it's just about like because the villains in it are like quote unquote right-wing extremist white guys. They decided to not release it because they want to take the temperature down a little bit. But there was also a rumor that the main villain of the show was kind of like a, Charlie Kirk, basically. It was just basically like a version of Charlie Kirk who was like the villain of the show. That hasn't been confirmed or anything like that. But also, some of the more cynical people out there have said that because Trump has been pressuring Apple to bring their manufacturing back to the United States and threatening them with tariffs and all this stuff, that they don't want to do anything to piss off the administration. And so therefore they're kind of quietly sitting on this one until, they get all their ducks in a row, and then maybe they'll bring it back. But Apple has so much money that like, it doesn't matter if they spend $100 million on this TV show, they can just, eat that cost until such time as they decide to release it. But it is kind of funny because Jessica Chastain has come out publicly and said that she doesn't align with Apple TV's decision on this. And this is in the wake of like the whole Jimmy Kimmel kerfluffle. But no one's accusing Apple of silencing freedom of speech, which is interesting. But wanted to throw this to the panel and see what they thought about it. Let's start with you, Mr. Butters. I know that you don't have Apple TV, and you probably weren't going to watch the Savant anyway.
Yeah, I just turned it off a little while ago, but I don't know. I don't see what the big controversy is here. I mean, some really crappy, horrible, terrible things happened, and this show would probably incite a few people and turn the temperature up, like you were saying. And delaying it for a few months or 6 months or a year, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. It's no big deal. It's not like they're like infringing on anybody's free speech or anything. They're just delaying something for a little while. It happens all the time. It happens to movies. It happens to TV shows. Just wait for the right time to put it out, and they'll make their money. It's not a big deal. I don't have a huge issue with it.
Brian, I actually think that this might be a business mistake on Apple's end, because the only time people might have cared about this is if it actually stirred up some controversy. Otherwise, nobody probably even knew that this show was coming out. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I had no idea it was happening. So they got more publicity from canceling it than they did from making it, surprisingly.
I'm sorry, Brian. Everybody knows that Apple TV is the worst streamer out there as far as marketing their products. We've watched plenty of Apple shows on the podcast, and nobody had ever heard of any of them before we started reviewing them. So
yeah, that's true. They're very bad at marketing their product. Although it was probably gonna be bad anyways. As good as Apple is at making TV shows, not everything they make is good. Some stuff on there, and it's hard. You know what it is? A lot of us look at Apple like with rose-colored glasses because we only watch the stuff that is good. They have a lot of stuff on there that we haven't watched for good reasons.
Yeah, I mean, like it is kind of interesting because I feel like Apple TV has some of the best original series out there. But like you said, like when they miss big. Like Dutch, remember Invasion?
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
fact,
one of the worst.
I keep seeing comments about, hey, you guys gonna review season 3? We've really been waiting for you to review season 3, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's up to the guys. but yeah, man, Apple's goofy. I mean, I prefer the so bad it's good stuff like C on Apple, but that's just me.
Well, I've been catching up on Foundation, which I know gets a lot of hate, but I'm actually really enjoying that show. And
yeah,
Slow Horses is one of the most fun like spy TV shows out there, and they just came out with a new season. So,
well, you like a lot of bad TV, Matt.
This is true. This is true. Speaking of bad takes, let's hear yours on this Savant deal.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Brian with that one. But
we already did him.
Oh, okay.
Get your facts in front of you, Odin.
I know. I was stepped away. So clearly I did not
yeah.
have those facts because my son's playing like a game of chicken with me. Every time I come in here and sit down, he opens up the door to his room. And as soon as he's gone, I don't know where he is. So it's like, okay, boy, you got to stay in there. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's kind of funny because it's like they made a show so on the nose, so ridiculous that it had to be pulled at least for a time because of its connections to blaming the wrong people once again. And this is, again, what Hollywood typically does. They always are on the wrong side of these issues and these things. Really, the only time where there hasn't been that overwhelming support for the wrong side of an issue, to be perfectly honest, is the whole Israel-Palestine stuff, because they're so divided on that. And so it's just like, that's like the one issue where there's not like uniform uniformity in their ideas. But with this one, right, about blaming right-wing people and everything like that, it's like that's just the lie that they continue to try to perpetuate, and it's just not true. And every time something like this continues to happen, where it's someone clearly on the left doing these things, it continues to degrade whatever goodwill they had built up. More and more people start to wake up, not nearly enough, but still, I think that the fact that we're still getting some people chipping away at that, the fact that you now have someone like Bill Maher, who's like one of the most left people you can think of, who even he's like, I gotta call these people out now because this is just not true, the things that you're trying to say, is, I think, kind of a sign that I think people are finally starting to wake up. Obviously, they're not changing completely. They have a lot of problems and issues still too, but I'm just happy to see that when stuff like this happens, it shows us that there is a change happening. But eventually, just like with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, it's going to come out. It's going to get released. It's going to be ridiculous. I think the woman it's based off of, because apparently it's like inspired by a true story, I think it was only like 2 people that she actually found. So like they're gonna try to like build this up as her like uncovering these massive groups, when the reality is in real life she only did like 2.
So some chick went on 4chan and found some extremist.
Yeah, it's like, oh, anyone can do that. I mean, I can find an extremist no matter what.
If they're gonna do a show like this, I think they would like go to somebody like Andy Ngo and do like a show on the stuff that he's done, like with Antifa and everything. I think that would actually be really interesting. But,
well, Butters, her superpower in the show is that she can think like a white man.
Oh, wow.
That's her superpower, and that's
how a white woman that can think
I'm
like a white man.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I had not heard anything about or of this show until yesterday when I got Matt's email and we were talking about it. So it's all new to me. And again, I blame Apple for terrible marketing on their part. So yeah, this isn't anything for me.
I feel like Apple's just waiting for someone on the right to commit some violence, and then they'll release the show and be like, okay, now it's fine, you know, type thing. But they're probably going to be waiting a long time. If that's
I mean, look, we're in a climate right now where every morning we can wake up to some new left-wing bullshit attack, and I think the last thing Apple wants is for anybody to be able to look towards them and say this show inspired this or whatever. So I kind of get it. I do. It's fine. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
Or the new video game thing. It's the old new argument where they're like, video games inspire this violence.
We all know that's bullshit as well. So
we know, but every time something happens, there's like,
I think it's easier for Apple to just say, hey, let's put a pin in this one for a little while. You know, let things calm down a little bit before we put our terrible show out there. So yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Well, I do think it's funny that Jessica Chastain seems to want the kind of rallying response that Jimmy Kimmel got from Hollywood.
She's a Hollywood liberal. What else is she gonna say? She has to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like she is a producer on the show, right? So like, you know, she put in a lot of time and effort into doing the series, and the fact that no one's coming to her side and just being like, hey, Apple, we're going to cancel you unless like you release this show, you know. But I think they can't tie it directly to Trump. And that's one of the reasons why nobody's like really like giving a crap about this.
Yeah, Trump is the one who really gets them going, dude.
It's not like we're talking like an escalator that's shut down or something. So, you know, man.
Yeah, that was,
or teleprompter stopping the minute you start.
Sinister. Sinister plot is afoot with that stuff.
Did you guys see that tweet this morning from like a former Secret Service guy? I think he was either former Secret Service or former Special Forces, where he basically said that he'd been in discussions with like a lot of like his colleagues about how bad the Secret Service is right now, because in that scenario where the escalator stopped, Trump was basically like vulnerable for an assassination like right then and there, along with the first lady. And it was like Secret Service didn't even react. Like they should have like instantly like evacuated him and all this other stuff. And the guy is like, there are some serious problems with the Secret Service right now.
Dude, remember when he got shot? It was like,
when he got shot? That's what you should have just left. It's like, remember that?
Well, yeah, you guys remember when he got shot? When he got shot from a building that was like in eye shot, and people saw the guy walking up there with a rifle.
And the first response was, well, it was a slanted roof. My favorite part of all that was when they started showing cows on slanted roofs, and it's like, wait a minute.
We couldn't get up there because so yeah, the fact that Secret Service is a mess. But then when you look at the Secret Service, it's like a couple pudgy chicks Their hand isn't even on their weapon right, bro. They're more confused than anyone around them. Like, who are you hiring? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's bad stuff. But
Gotta
you
be
know
able
what
to
is
do a
bad,
pull-up.
guys?
Be able to do a pull-up, buddy. That's it.
You know what isn't bad are super chats, and we got one
That's
from
true.
Mephisto's movie reviews for 6. Is it shekels? I don't know what the Israeli money
Yes,
is.
shekels.
But today
Claims.
we cover The Sandlot after the Salty Nerd, so be sure to check that out.
Nice.
We also got Eric Winberg for 1 Salty Nerd gifted podcast membership. Thank you very much, Eric. And of course, Major Chai Chai coming in at 5 Salty Nerd podcast memberships. So we're at 6.
Awesome.
So if you ever want to see Dutch Butter's feet again, we need 4 more. of
I'm not
those,
showing my
membership.
feet, man. That's never gonna happen.
Yes, you say that now, but never say never.
He'll make an AI that does. So
Yeah, it'll just be a foot chat. Foot chat.
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
guys. So speaking of free speech and all this stuff, did you know that during the whole Charlie Kirk shenanigans and Jimmy Kimmel shenanigans, that California secretly passed a bill through both houses of the state, House and Senate, to basically stifle speech that they don't agree with. And this is like some nefarious stuff. And basically, the only thing that's keeping it from going into effect is Gavin Newsom's signature, which is basically expected to be any day now. But it's basically this thing called SB 771. And what this supposedly does is it basically supposedly fines social media platforms for allowing hate speech on their platforms, which is kind of weird because it seems to fly directly in the face of that, what was it, Section 280 protections or like whatever from the federal government. But essentially, like if someone in California determines that what you post on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be, if you post somewhere something that somebody deems as hateful or attacking some type of protected minority.
Well, the word, it actually says the bill protects against online harassment, particularly when directed at historically marginalized groups.
Yeah. So basically,
I wonder who that is.
Brian, I think
Basically,
you should make a tweet and test it out, brother.
So it's so broad that it can
Absolutely.
basically apply to anyone. And the
N-word,
fines,
N-word.
the fines, it starts at $500,000, so $500,000, and can go up to as high as $1 million.
What a
And
bunch.
they're aimed at the platforms, right? So it's not the individual, but the platforms. However, in order to avoid these fines, the platforms would basically have to deplatform whoever was in violation. of
Wait a
this law.
second. He's just trying to supplement the income so they can build their train. That's all.
They're never gonna
that's
build
what
the
he's trying to
train,
do.
Doc.
He's trying to get his train built because he
They're
needs
never
money.
building the train.
But
It's crazy how
but-
much money they've spent on this project
know.
that's not
Yeah.
happening.
However, so like the minute this thing goes into effect, I'm sure there's going to be legal challenges, but they can still start enacting, the repercussions of this. So Brian, as the only member of the panel still dumb enough to be living in California, what's your take on this law?
I think it's really hilarious that. Okay, I'm trying not to get angry. Okay.
Remain calm.
What,
Get
my
angry.
problem with this is that Gavin Newsom, the same guy who came out and spoke about how Jimmy Kimmel's freedom of speech was upended by the Trump administration and Carr, and how horrible it is that this is the president you voted for. Did you vote for him to take away your right to freedom of speech? When exactly what he's accusing Trump of doing, that didn't happen. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't fired. He was suspended and then brought back. So obviously it had nothing to do with Trump administration. But exactly what he was accusing Trump of doing that day, 2 weeks prior, him and his group of gangster thugs had already been put in motion obvious violations of free speech. Because this is not just a money-making venture. What this does is it tells platforms specifically that you have to, regardless of the inroads that we've been making via freedom of speech on Twitter, Facebook, other social media platforms, etc., regardless of the freedom of speech that we've been expanding, regardless of what we've been doing to make our speech actually free on these platforms and not shadow banned and throttled, you are going to have to police these people even more, at least people that are specifically in California, or you will end up with millions and millions and millions out of the fines. This isn't just a fundraiser. This is a way for them to increase their hold, their power over California, and by proxy, social media platforms. It's an easy way for them to silence people that are going to be speaking out against them in the midterms or in the governor election.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
or with mayors. It's an easy way for them to be like, no, that popular influencer that's talking about how completely inept and useless the mayor of LA is, he is talking out against a historically marginalized group because she's a black woman. So cut him off your platform or you're getting fined, or cut him off your platform and you're being fined, which decreases and diminishes the voice of actual common sense people. So, and you know, the fact is that they can sort of determine what that hate speech is off the top of their head. That means that there's no goalpost here. That means that it's whoever they don't like at that time, whatever pushes their agenda forward, whatever gets them more power. I don't trust these corrupt officials. You shouldn't trust these corrupt officials. And historically, they are not trustworthy. So when the goalposts are so broad that they can just specify whatever they want, you know, to get you removed from their platform, this is obviously a violation of the First Amendment. And the crazy part is the federal government can't do anything about it because it's a state issue.
Well, you know, what's funny, Odin, is that the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, recently came out and threatened to go after businesses, organizations, and people for quote unquote hate speech. And I could see Gavin Newsom basically saying like, hey, we're just doing the same thing that the Attorney General did, but focused towards social media platforms. What's your take on that?
I mean, probably, and that's why it was a dumb thing for Pam Bondi to have said that. And then even her attempt to try to like correct the record the next day still was just lacking in anything that, you know, basically all she needed to say was, hey, if you incite violence, if you call for violence, right, that is something that we'll look into, versus hate speech, right? Because hate speech is such a broad term, it's a made up term, but incitement to violence is already something that you can't do, right?
And she shouldn't have even said that in the first place because it's already a law that you can't incite
that's why
violence.
All she had to say was, you know, we're going to actually start pursuing these cases that we should have already been pursuing, and for some reason we haven't. So yeah, it's just, I feel like she is making just blunder after blunder at this point, and I know people have been asking for her to like be fired and to be replaced. But at this point, yeah, if the public perception is bad enough to where people just don't trust her anymore, then just for the sake of that alone, public perception is a very important thing. So I don't know necessarily who would be a good person to replace her, like at this point in time. Then again, they have recently nuked the whole option of you know, supporting and confirming his picks. Right now they only need 51 votes instead of like the 60 or whatever threshold they needed before. So maybe this would be the time to say, all right, let's get rid of her, and hey, maybe Matt Gaetz, maybe we put him back on the table and see if we can push him through.
Well, so I got a question for you and Brian. If the government does shut down, would that be a time where Trump could do a swap without having to get congressional approval?
I'm not sure, honestly.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that would be sort of authoritative. I don't know
I think the main thing you can do in a shutdown that you typically can't do is you can fire a lot of people. Like there's a protocol that allows you to fire mass amounts of people without having to get any type of confirmation of any kind. And I know that that's what currently is being planned. Is, you know, I think it was either Scott Bessent or no, it was Vought was putting out there saying, oh yeah, let's get a plan together so that way they know, hey, you want to shut the government down? All right, great, we're going to wipe away a lot of federal employees that we've been wanting to get rid of and get off.
Well, but there is such a thing as recess appointments, right? So like if the governing body is not in session, then he can appoint someone outside of needing that approval.
Yeah,
right?
That's why they've done all these different parlor tricks to keep themselves in session.
Yeah.
And there's my son. He just finished pooping.
Yes.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Nothing's greater than that feeling after you're done pooping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
God.
Feel 5 pounds lighter.
Yeah. Speaking of pooping, Dutch Butter is shit all over this this bill here in California.
Oh, I mean, what? I don't live in California, so I don't know, man. It just seems like it's just more authoritative nonsense coming from Gavin Newsom. You know, am I gonna get fined because I called him Newsom? like our fine president does.
He's not a historically marginalized group.
I think there's nobody shittier out there than Gavin Newsom, and he's already running for president. He has absolutely zero chance of winning, even though people say he does. But I can't see it ever happening. And like you said, Brian, he's the biggest hypocrite out there. It's wild. It's wild to watch the stuff that he says and then see the things that he does. It's incredible to me. And California is it's just the whole West Coast is just kind of lost right now. And it's that California infection has gone north. I'm from Oregon originally. Was born and raised there. I moved down here to Las Vegas when I was 40, and I've been here ever since. And it's sad because my parents are up there, my grandkids are up there, my family's up there, and watching the California creep take over the entire West Coast in the last few decades has just been extremely sad and disheartening to me. And I don't know. People need to start doing some things to just say no. I mean, I don't know what that thing is. I guess people are afraid to get arrested. They don't want to like go to jail for, thought crimes, that kind of thing. But this kind of stuff it's insane to me. The taxes in California, the laws, the rules, what is happening? I don't get it. I wish I was a smarter person to be able to understand it all, but I'm not. So people got to fight back, man, I guess. You go over there. I mean, here in Las Vegas, it's really weird because, the border to California is like 20 miles south of me here. And you cross that line and all of a sudden the road is nice and smooth. And as soon as you get into California, it starts getting bumpy and shitty and the roads are terrible. And, it's just like, you can tell the whole place is starting to fall apart from the millisecond you cross the border. It's really strange.
Yeah, try going into a drugstore or gas station in California and look at everything that's locked up.
Yeah, everything's locked up. Can I quickly add about Gavin before we move on?
Yeah.
You guys know who Adam Carolla is, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Right. So Adam Carolla was the host of Loveline when I was a teen with
Dr.
Drew.
Drew.
That was
with
a
Dr.
great
Drew.
show.
Great show, yeah.
Yeah.
They got a podcast together.
They do. I listened to it.
I did not know that. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, anyways, he started his own podcast after he got kicked from terrestrial radio, and his podcast quickly became like the #1 podcast. Well, one reason is, besides him being funny and Adam Carolla, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had on Gavin Newsom. When Gavin Newsom was lieutenant governor, he had on Gavin Newsom. And the wild part is, Gavin Newsom goes on there thinking that he is going on an Allies podcast. And I don't think he ever listened to Adam Carolla. I think that he goes, oh, well, Adam Carolla is friends with Jimmy Kimmel, and he's probably going to be like a reasonable white guy I can talk to. Well, that did not happen. Adam Carolla lit into him and wouldn't let him leave the building and just continually lambasted him question after question until Gavin left on his own. Well, it ended up being one of the most listened to podcasts ever, and it really set Adam Carolla's podcast on fire. Years later, there was something he said about Gavin Newsom that actually got him fined. And what you guys don't know about this is he lives in California, in fact, LA, and he had a warehouse full of cars. And after this statement, that warehouse all of a sudden had multiple inspectors showing up weekly, monthly, would not leave him alone, constantly bothering Adam and his group until they were forced to sell the property because it wasn't worth keeping anymore. And all he said was, my problem with Gavin Newsom is that he's so corrupt, he doesn't pay attention to the actual problems the state has. This is a person that has lived here forever. He's the kind of guy who will be like, he'll walk into a burning, and I'm going to paraphrase, he'll walk into a burning building, and instead of addressing the fire, he'll complain that someone's not using the right pronouns, or complain that that engine over there isn't, green friendly. Everything he does is for sound bites. It's to trigger his base. And while the state is literally on fire, he'll be complaining about things that have no bearing on real people's lives at all. And the funniest thing about this is that when the last wildfire happened, the wildfire, the one that like burned down the Palisades, the day it was happening, Gavin Newsom was literally doing an interview with someone about the mayor's about someone offending the mayor and using her incorrect pronouns or whatever with the fire chief's sexual identity. So while the Palisades are behind him on fire, he's complaining about critics of the fire chief talking about her sexuality. And I can't state this enough. Gavin Newsom has only been elected. He was only elected because he was chosen to be elected by his auntie, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi and the Browns and the Newsoms have pretty much run California for like 40 years. They're like installed kings and queens of this state. And they decide, and whether you think you're actually voting for something or not, you're wrong. They pretty much decide who's going to be in power and where. Whether it's the mayor, the governor, the fucking, secretary of the treasury, it doesn't matter. They decide who's going to be elected. And when you are actually voting for these people, they're putting their finger on the scale. I'm not saying that they're messing with votes. I'm saying that they're silencing people or they're removing people that actually have a shot at beating these people in elections. So every time you think about Gavin Newsom, remember this. He was never actually, he was installed by his family, by the Queen Pelosi herself. And he only was lieutenant governor, and he only became governor after Brown was removed because he was no longer worth the trouble to Pelosi. These people are corrupt beyond recognition, beyond anything you can really think. Like, they are corrupt, like movie level spy shit corrupt. These are bad people, and they run this state, and they will run this state until I die or leave. I guarantee you that. No one is getting these people out of here. They're like ticks.
Yeah, I often wonder. So Schwarzenegger came out recently against Gavin Newsom, which was kind of a surprise. But I kind of wonder if they get rid of USAID and institute voter voter ID and a bunch of other things. Because I feel like, and I'm saying this as a former California resident, I feel like California just has the worst voting system ever.
Oh,
so every Democrat that gets elected there is they're basically just stealing the elections every time they go to the
every
polls.
time. Yeah.
And so
they redraw lines and everything to make it so that their people get in power.
But it's not just that. It's like illegal. Like when I used to vote in California, you didn't even need to give them your address. You just show up and vote.
Yep, that's true too.
So you have all these illegal immigrants out there, and that's one of the reasons why they're so against the ICE deportations, is because they're basically deporting their voter base. Because I think if you just allowed citizens to vote, tax-paying citizens, California would go red very easily.
Yeah, I mean, and there's entire sections of California that are red or purple, and partly because those sections aren't overran by illegal immigrants. The crazy thing about it is that they'll call you a conspiracy theorist for saying that. They'll even call what you said hateful, but they'll never actually give you proof that it's not happening. Like, they'll take what you just said is, well, this is a theory. This is my hypothesis. They'll never try to debunk what you said. They'll just say, well, you're a conspiracy theorist, to diminish your opinion. You're a racist. You're a hateful bigot, to completely block anyone from listening to what you're saying, because most people discount people the second they're called a racist, a bigot, or homophobe, or whatever. But what you're saying, that conspiracy theory, totally plausible. In fact, if you look at all the information, it's actually more likely probable. But it will never be debunked, and it will never stop, because Queen Pelosi runs the state, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, and I think just in terms of track record, the conspiracy theorists have been batting almost 100% in terms of like what they've been claiming has been happening. Like, did you guys see that the FBI came out and said, yeah, there were 279 plainclothes FBI agents in the January 6th protest?
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, last time someone said that.
This is after years of the head of the FBI saying
Right.
that wasn't true.
But we already all knew all that. They just confirmed it.
We
So-
knew that, but they called us conspiracy theorists. Like Crowder confirmed that. Like, oh, yeah, there were at least 55 people that we confirmed to be FBI agents via like video footage, and they called him a conspiracy theorist. In fact, I think he got a claim on his channel for that exact thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
that sounds right.
crazy how today's conspiracy theory, and this is happening more and more often becomes just like a fact. But it's always after you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it 3 years later, 5 years later. So now it's cool if we can admit that. It's cool we admit that, China in the lab called coronavirus. Maybe it actually came from there. But if you said that at the time, they would have lost you lost your platform. You got demonetized. Case in point, I got demonetized for saying that. But now it's completely fine. Why can't we go back and get some justice for people that were deplatformed, silenced, demonetized for saying exactly what was true 5 years ago, but now it's okay to say because there's no repercussions. Once enough time passes, no one can get in trouble for anymore. Now that it's been 4 years or whatever it's been, there's no one at the FBI is going to get in trouble. And there's no hearings going to happen. No Senate Judiciary Council meetings going to talk about this. They want to just put it to bed now. I hate the fact that they can openly admit to being corrupt as long as enough time has passed where repercussions can't happen.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that stuff in the next section. Go ahead.
I
Dutch.
apologize if I go offline here anytime in the near future because my cat has decided to nest behind my monitors next to my computer, and I can't get back there and remove him right now. So if I go offline, that's why he's pulling plugs. So it happens.
Yeah, Dutch just has too much pussy to deal with.
That's right. That's right. He's a good cat. All right. The only time he bothers me though is when we're doing this show. It's really weird. It's really weird. I'll be in here every day, and he never bugs me. But we're doing this show. He wants to like pester me, so it's fine. I think the chat likes him too.
Well, you know who doesn't pester us are super chats. So we got Penny, a member for 18 months. California just needs to give the land back to the Indians then.
Might as well.
Might as well at this point. Just give it back to Mexico. Why don't you?
Actually, you know what? I fully endorse this, Penny, because think about it. The only people that would do that would be the far leftist. And therefore, guess what? The only part of the state that you have left would be the red side. So, yeah, please go ahead and do that. That'd be wonderful.
Well, it would also give
red?
Yes, he did say red.
Wow, racist.
Man.
Yeah, but yeah,
As
because
in
of
Republican,
Indians.
not as in not as in
Redskins. Yeah. Well, if they did that, they'd give Vegas a run for their money because California would just be one big casino at that point. So, anyway, we got Anita Amanda Huggin Kissin' Lips for $1.99. I made racist AI video of blue aliens, not like Blick.
I think that's the guy that's normally like the F that biche.
Yes, exactly. That is the
Anita
same
Amanda
Yes.
Huggin Kiss Lips. Interesting.
Very, very clever.
Name.
Very clever.
very clever.
Thanks for the $1.99.
Fluffy Panda for $5. There are key areas in California they control that decide elections, decide for the whole state. The EPA has done its part too.
True.
Yes. Every
That's just-
conspiracy theory about California is accurate, people.
That's the whole West Coast. Oregon, you have Portland, Salem area. Washington, you have the Seattle metro area, and they run the whole entire state. California's the same way with Frisco and LA. There's just too many people living in those areas that are they're the left. So and it's bullshit. It sucks.
And I don't know if you guys just noticed this, but YouTube has officially banned Brian from the podcast.
He tweeted something weird.
Is now no
man.
longer part of the stream. His rant just got him deplatformed.
He got
permanently.
Newsomed.
Yeah,
That's
he got
no
Newsomed.
good. I'm a little bit worried.
Yes, but speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about YouTube censorship and like the big revelation that came out this week. And once Brian's back on the show, we'll throw it to him because I'm sure he has a lot to say about this. But guys, I don't know if you saw it or not, but Jim Jordan who is probably one of the most annoying congressmen out there because like he talks a good game, like his heart's in the right place, but he never actually gets anything accomplished. Well, he basically got Google to publicly admit that under the Biden administration, they censored and banned tons and tons of people, violating their freedom of speech, their First Amendment rights, simply because the Biden administration threatened them. And so rather than take the ire of the US government, Google, who's perfectly aligned with the Biden administration, decided to basically deplatform a number of people who talked about COVID, who talked about election interference, who talked about basically everything that the corrupt deep state did not want people exposed to. And this is the first time that they've actually come out and publicly admitted that they did these things, right? Like I think it was at the beginning of this year or the end of last year or something like that, where they came out and said, we're no longer going to be censoring, COVID and election stuff and things like that. But this is the first time that they admitted that they actually actively censored people based off of government pressure. And that to me is a big deal. And it's kind of funny because they basically said like, okay, now that we've admitted that this thing happened, we're going to be turning over a new leaf. We're going to be reinstating all the people who got banned for this stuff. And so the next day, Nick Fuentes and what's his name?
Milo.
No, well, Milo, but also Infowars guys, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, yeah.
So Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones basically like started up new YouTube channels, and within 12 hours, YouTube nuked them, took them right down. And basically everyone said like, oh, apparently Google's not turning over a new leaf. YouTube then came out. Let me see if I can pull up the tweet here. By the way, guys, everything that we show on the stream is always linked in the show notes in the description. But YouTube said, we've seen some previously terminated creators try to start new channels. To clarify, our pilot program on terminations is not yet open. It's still against our community guidelines for previously terminated users to use, possess, or create other channels, and will terminate new channels from previously terminated users in accordance with those guidelines. We'll have more on the limited pilot program soon.
That's dog shit.
So Google and YouTube are basically like, okay, yeah, we're going to unban people in a limited sort of way for an indefinite amount of time. So like, we're going to let these people back on, but slowly and at our discretion. And it's kind of like that kind of flies in the face of like, the big revelation to begin with. So, and as YouTubers, like I can remember like there was a time where you couldn't say COVID on a live stream without getting the entire stream demonetized. Just saying the word COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it happened to me.
Yeah. And there's all types of things where like, if you question the 2020 election, you could basically have your entire channel demonetized. Like there was all types of dangerous stuff. And we saw, I think Steven Crowder got hit the hardest, made him jump over to Rumble. But, you had people like Tim Pool, even Gary, had to be really careful about what he said, because like there were targets on his back as well. So, this wasn't just a YouTube thing, because we had the Twitter files, right? Once Elon took over, Matt Taibbi exposed the fact that the Biden administration was pressuring Twitter to censor people. Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, like, Facebook and Instagram, same thing happened to them. The Biden administration was threatening them if they didn't like censor their users. And now Google admits it. So like, this wasn't just like one platform kind of like bowing to government pressure. This was the Biden administration systematically pressuring every single social media platform to censor, deplatform, cancel everyone's right to say what they want to say, because it went against what they wanted to say.
Right.
And it even goes so far as to say, like, do you guys remember Parler? Parler was like the alternative to Twitter at the time, and Apple and Google took them off their app stores, which is like the kiss of death for any like tech app, because people can't download it or get updates and stuff like that. For just a fraction of what like the Reddit app is promoting, of what like like a lot of these like ICE tracker apps are doing, like this is stuff that's actually promoting and facilitating violence that is still up on the App Store, but Parler had to get nuked, and I believe that came from like the Democrats as well. So there's a lot of like a lot of stuff that's up in the air right now. But the big thing is that YouTube is trying to turn over a new leaf. The question is, will they actually do it? So I want to start with Odin on this one. Odin, do you think YouTube is sincere in the fact that they didn't want to deplatform these people and they're actually going to make some changes?
That they didn't want to? No, because they were all in the same team. So they had no problem going through with it. If they honestly had any qualms about it whatsoever, they would have made all of that public, and then they would have put the entire spotlight on them, because I'm sorry, I know how big the federal government is, but at the same time, I know how massive of a company Alphabet is as well. And for a company like Alphabet, right, $1 trillion company, to say, oh, we were afraid or anything like that is to me a bit ridiculous to say that. So I first don't think, if they honestly were against it, if that were actually true, they would not have just gone along with it. They could have said something about it if they actually had a qualm with it. They didn't, though. They supported it. They're on the same team. They're on the same side. And so that's why, for now, sure, the fact that they're admitting it is a huge step, because beforehand they would never have admitted it. They would have just glossed over, or they would have made up some excuse. But the fact that they're even coming out and saying, yeah, we did this thing and this is bad, the fact that they have brought back channels, I mean, the fact that Computing Forever is back on YouTube was an amazing thing to see. There's another one where is it like Reagan Says, or something like that, like where like that channel was taken off too. So it's a bunch of channels that are coming back, and I remember
Dave Cullen.
Yeah, exactly, because again, that's Computing Forever. So like I remember when these channels were first taken off, right, because of the quote, misinformation, etc. And it would have been nice if this had actually happened during during the first term, if it could have, because some of these channels had been affected while he was still in office. But I do think that it's good that's happening now. I don't trust it for a second, though, because if during the next election, another leftist, if God forbid we have a Gavin Newsom presidency after this current administration, they'll go right back to it. They'll have no problem whatsoever shutting down any and every channel, and they'll probably do it with even more force, because the whole mindset will now be, well, Trump was a fascist, and so now we get to be communist dictators, right? Because that's exactly what they do, right? They will try to respond in quote in kind with their wacko ideology, and the people at Google are just going to go along with it, no problem.
Yeah, and what's funny about the Biden administration is like they were making all these censorship demands based on this idea of disinformation and misinformation. In fact, they even tried to create a ministry of truth, where basically like the government was out there to track down disinformation and misinformation and have it removed from the internet. And it's like, well, who defines what's misinformation? A lot of the stuff that they were saying was disinformation, misinformation back 4 years ago about COVID, about the election, has proven to be true over time, right? So it's like, well, it wasn't really misinformation. It was actually like facts that they just didn't agree with. And so like this idea of like, how do we define, the speech that, is eligible to get you banned or censored or like whatever, right? Because a new Gavin Newsom administration could come in and just say everything about like election fraud is disinformation and have it squashed, even if it might be true, right? So it's a very like weird slippery slope here. Brian, as someone who, out of everyone on this panel, has been persecuted by YouTube more than anyone, what's your take on this?
My take is great. Can I get some back pay, please? I mean, dude,
you want to give people some background on what YouTube has done to you and your channel?
Yeah. My live channel has been demonetized 3 times. I've gotten multiple. I got demonetized once, or I got a strike once, just for quote unquote multiple reports, which meant someone or a group of people reported my a particular stream or video so many times that it ended up with a strike. And every time I got demonetized, I was able to get it back within like 4 or 5 months. But appeals never worked. Even when I got demonetized once for reading the CDC website. Like literally, the CDC website's on the screen, and I read it verbatim. Okay? I didn't even add any color to it. I got demonetized for that because of COVID. But then also, when I appealed every one of these, I also got demonetized for reused content once, which I didn't even know what that was. I think that was just another way to get me off the platform without saying it was misinformation or whatever. Every time I did an appeal, every time that appeal was never watched by anyone. It's almost like they can't, like they don't know that we can see when a video hasn't been viewed by anyone, like when it has 0 views. So when you appeal a demonetization or a ban or a platform or a strike for something that you think is an injustice, you probably won't even be that appeal probably won't even be viewed by anyone, because they're not demonetizing you or deplatforming you because you did something wrong. It's because they don't like you. They don't like what you're saying. They don't like your rhetoric. They don't like what, the words that are coming out of your mouth. And what's interesting is, I know that can only be the case because once enough time has passed, I go through the process of getting monetized again, and I'm always automatically restored. So it's not even the system removing me. It's people and reports. So I've managed to avoid demonetization now this last time by just very much policing my speech, and I think that we're in a different era where you can say more, because
it's really wild to me, Brian, because the Brain Show, you guys go into some stuff. You guys go down some rabbit holes that you never would have been to go and touch a year and a half ago.
That's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah, some of our rabbit holes are nuts.
I gave you guys, after your first few episodes started with the new show, I gave you guys about a month before. But you guys are going strong. I'm really shocked that YouTube has let you guys go. But I guess you're good. So
that's true. Well, one thing I did when I monetized it and rebranded it to the Brain Show, I did, instead of calling it like politics, I called it comedy. So I reapplied as the category was comedy. Yeah. I think that might be helping a little bit, because you can say more under the guise of comedy. And to be fair, I mean, like half what I say isn't meant to be taken serious. When I'm talking about lizard people and the highest, officers of the government, I'm not being serious.
You're not serious about that?
I mean, I'm not saying it's
I'm
not
very
true.
disappointed, Brian.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that,
I thought you were the type of guy who had your facts in front of you.
Anyways, so once I was demonetized, when I saw this news, I was like, hey, so can I go back and get some back pay? Because what you did when you demonetized me 3 times is every single time I basically had to start from scratch.
Yeah, they effectively kill your channel.
They killed the channel. Yeah. So every single people ask me, why do you keep changing the name of your channel? Because I have to restart. I have to rebrand and restart my audience hunt every time the channel gets demonetized. And so what happens is, I have 6,000 plus subs or whatever. Cool, but tiny itsy bitsy portion of that where I would actually see any notifications from me, because the channel was blacklisted under the previous name. So I'm building a whole new audience. In fact, every month I literally still lose subscribers, because that's from the old Star Trek audience or whatever it was. So like they really made my job difficult. And I don't like say racist things. I don't say things that aren't even untrue. The fact that we've been demonetized for like reading official CDC website, articles is just sort of insane to me. So yeah, my thought when I saw that news was, can I go back and get, can we sue? Can we get some back pay? Because you've like a few years of my efforts were removed every single time you demonetize me.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like just the people who were arrested for January 6th, it's coming out now that they were set up. They didn't have any due process. They didn't have, like basically like the entire Democrat Party manufactured this crisis and then scapegoated these people. And it's like they were in jail for like up to 8 years of their lives. Like they were bankrupted. It's like, and they have no recourse, right? It's like, can you go to Facebook and be like, you had no right to deplatform me because of the government? Can you go to YouTube? Can you go to, like TikTok or like whatever, and actually get damages because of that? I don't think you can.
You should be able to. And in fact, if I had money and a lawyer, I would consider it.
Yeah.
I would consider trying, even if just to set the precedent, like it's sort of silly that, you can upend someone's entire business and then 2 years later be like, my bad, dog.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. Like, no.
I would like to state really quick that lizard people are real and they are running.
I never said they weren't real.
And
I just said that maybe if they are in power, we should call it a joke.
The lizard people,
right?
And the grays and the tall whites, and they have a council, an intergalactic council, and we're just a little experimental pebble floating in the cosmos that they control without our knowledge. So just keep that in mind, everybody.
Dutch, as somebody who's a newly minted YouTuber running your own gaming channel, what's your take on
I run the channel with that
YouTube
guy standing behind you right now. So yeah, but what was the question again? I'm sorry.
What's your take on this YouTube censorship stuff?
It's scary. What they were able to do is scary. That they can just randomly just censor people and shut their stuff down for wrong think. And it's wrong. It's very. I wish I was better with my words. It's just not good. It's a bad thing, and it makes me.
I'm not good with words. It's bad.
I'm kind of listen. I'm kind of retarded. My mom took Tylenol when I was.
Hey, you can say retarded now. You couldn't say it 2 years ago.
I know. But yeah, I do. I think about that a lot with the gaming channel because the gaming channel is growing, and I do my best to multi-stream and push people to the other channel because we do a Kick channel along with it, and I probably should do a Rumble channel, which I haven't started yet. But I'm always afraid because my mouth has a tendency to say things it shouldn't say. It just does. I do it all the time, and someday the wrong person's going to be viewing my game stream, and I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't, and they're going to report me, and I'm going to get smacked, and everything's going to go away. You know, whether it's me or if it's Alex there behind you on our weekly podcast, you know, sometimes we go down some rabbit holes that we probably shouldn't, but you know, we're not scared of losing a channel, but I want people to understand that we have other outlets that we can do that we multi-stream on and do other things too that are a little more free speech friendly, you know, over on Kick and some other outlets. But yeah, the fact that YouTube can push a button and just take everything away after all your thousands and thousands of hours of hard work because of wrong think is scary. And it's always on the back of my mind, you know, so it's there. And I'm glad that they're being a little more transparent with this kind of stuff, but I'll feel better about it when, you know, these all the channels that they deleted are back. You know, when Alex Jones can go up there and push, I want to start a new channel and not get nuked within 5 minutes, then maybe things will be better. So,
especially considering that on the other side of the aisle, they could say the most vile, disgusting shit that they want and never have to worry about getting banned or deplatformed.
Right. Never. Vile, horrible, like just horrible things. And no one does anything about it.
Yeah, but as Rec Thoughts likes to say, Butters has bad words but good genes. So there you go. But Odin, I wanted to ask you, because you were on this little known live stream called Friday Night Tights during like this whole period. You know, that stream is famous for having people who don't really care about what they should and shouldn't say, which is what makes it such an entertaining show. What was like the feeling over there during this time where like, you know, like were they having to be careful about their words? Were they afraid that they were going to get nuked? Like what was happening?
I mean, not really in the same, like we would always have certain things where it was just kind of collectively known, okay, yeah, we shouldn't say this, we shouldn't talk about that, but it's like kind of common sense stuff, like, you know, Gavin McInnes going on the show and like showing his wiener and or pretending to show his wiener with something that looked like an actual penis, like that was the kind of thing, right? It's like, okay, that's a line you clearly just don't cross, that's just something you just don't do. So like we've had stuff like that before, but even at that time, you know, we would never really censor anybody. We would never tell anyone, hey, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. Normally it would be, if anything, like self-censoring, where because all of us are in the space, because none of us are just, you know, It's not like we are like, no one on the panel has not been on YouTube, right? We've all been doing YouTube, so we already know what the rules are. We already know how to stay on the platform, and so normally we would say something and then we would immediately censor ourselves. Like we would be like, oh, in Minecraft, or something like, oh, well, we're not professionals, so please don't take our word for it. So we would always play that line with it, and we still do, because we don't trust them, right? Even if their rules supposedly change, we don't trust them. And so in general, yeah, it really didn't affect us. It hasn't really changed all that much in our day-to-day, except for the fact that, again, all of us do YouTube on a weekly basis, and so we already are kind of adapting to the algorithms and to the rules as they're happening. But typically, I mean, we would have streams, and still do, where they are demonetized in some way or limited in some way. And most of the time it's because of like copyright stuff. Like that's actually the bigger issue. And it's great that they're tackling this. But the bigger problem, in my opinion, that YouTube actually needs to tackle is the whole copyright stuff, because
it's copyright abuse.
Always been,
it's an abuse.
Always been terrible with it, and they are so quick to take anything and everything down, to give the benefit of the doubt to the giant corporations, and it sucks because oftentimes, I would say 99% of the time, it's fair use every single time. But unfortunately, they are not willing to have a system where the company has to actually actively flag content and then actively make a case before content gets taken down. Instead, they have got this automatic system that does it for the giant corporations. That's what they need to fix. That's what they need to take care of, because it's ridiculous, that system, because more videos and more people get taken off, taken down, demonetized because of that crap than anything with censorship.
That's very true. Yeah, the copyright system is totally abused, and often not even by the studios that own the IP. Yeah. It's often abused by bad actors that are reporting abuse so that they can collect because of their bullshit copyright that they don't really have. It's crazy. I remember I got a music copyright claim for music I made. Someone went to my music channel, thought that track is sort of cool, uploaded my track to Reverly or one of these third-party copyright claim places as their track, and then that track got my actual main channel copyright claimed because obviously I used that track in a documentary, and I had to go fight like through the third-party claim system to get them to remove it from their system so that I didn't have a copyright claim on my main channel. Someone just went to my music channel, took my music, and decided that's their music now. And because I didn't previously upload it to one of these third-party places, I went through like 3 months of hell to get get the money on one of my largest videos back. So silly.
Yeah, and this is how crazy the copyright thing is on YouTube, right? So like I know a guy who did like a parody song, right? And YouTube has like this like carve out for like live music where it's like, if it's a live performance, like it's not really copyright claimable because that's an original like, performance type deal. But he got copyright struck for it. And when we looked into the copyright claim, it was it was for like the melody of the song, but it wasn't the melody of the original song that was being parodied. It was the melody of a parody song of that original song that was claiming the copyright of this other parody song. So it's like the person, like the person doing the copyright claim wasn't even the originator of the original song. They were a parody song using the same melody as that song. And they were saying like, oh, that melody is copyright to us in the parody space. Therefore, this person's ad revenue goes to us. And it's like, wait, YouTube, what are you doing here? Like how does any of this make sense? Right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It's always funny whenever you get a copyright claim, look at the claimant, because again, when it comes to even movie trailers, that's the one that drives me the craziest. Like Warner Brothers goes out of their way to just go after people for literally showing trailers, promotional material for their stuff. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you didn't want people to promote your stuff in any way, even if it's like showing it. And but then you have these other ones, especially with music, as you were just mentioning, where you look at the name and you don't recognize it because it's a random like third party that's like claiming something about it. And again, and the problem is like once you challenge it, they try to scare you with all that language of like, hey, if you turns out that you weren't being honest, then your whole channel could be taken down.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? If you dispute they're not releasing your claim, it's possible you end up with a strike. They don't get anything. They can be completely lying and they don't face any risk, but you can lose your entire channel if you dispute this claim that is obviously false. It's crazy, man. The system is broken, and I have my main channel is like mostly, we talk about movies. We make documentaries about movies, so there's a lot of copyright stuff. I think that because of the years of walking the line and being careful on that channel, I think that it has like this hidden score that allows it a little extra leeway because I've won so many copyright claims. I've literally won, you guys, hundreds and hundreds of copyright claims. So because that's the case, I think there's like the secret copyright score where they won't just automatically claim an entire, video that's talking about the Goonies or whatever. And the reason is I think there's that hidden score allows me leeway because I can take that exact same documentary, upload it to one of my other channels, and it will be instantly copyright claimed, like in its entirety, blocked in all regions, the whole thing. But on my main channel, it won't be. So I think there is a hidden score that if you win enough copyright claims for certain content, those companies like maybe put you on a whitelist or something. I don't know. But I know for a fact that I no longer get Star Trek claims on my main channel. But the same exact video will get a Paramount claim on my secondary channels.
Well, what's interesting about like this whole like censorship debacle is that when this thing was going on, YouTube had a completely different CEO. It was the Susan Wojcicki era, and she was a longtime YouTube CEO. She kind of like made YouTube what it was, but she was also very much in the like leftist liberal arena over there. Like she was one of the sisters in arms. When they were doing all this like censoring, she was still in charge, and now they have a new CEO who seems to be taking a little bit more of a pragmatic approach to things, which could be one of the reasons why they came out and decided to admit this and a few other things. But also, I think Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google and YouTube and stuff like that, in addition to like Apple and all these other big tech companies, have been kind of like brought in line by the Trump administration and their threats of like tariffs and like all this other stuff if like these tech companies don't start shaping up and falling in line. So there's that to consider. But I also think that Jim Jordan spent like 4 years getting these people in front of Congress and getting them to testify and pressuring them and stuff like that. I don't know how much pressure he ended up applying, but he eventually just got them to admit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think about this new era of YouTube? Do you think like with Susan Wojcicki being gone that there is kind of room for them to actually like change how they do business?
Well,
Maybe.
at least in the current climate, maybe they're going to be sensible, but that doesn't mean that, if 2 years from now or 6 years from now, if the left or the Dems get back in charge, that they won't go right back to their old ways. I don't really trust them to keep going down the right path here. But I guess for the moment we'll take what we can get, right? I mean, what else can we do? So
indeed. Brian, Odin, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Same thing.
Yeah, I have the same thoughts. I think the censorship thing is going to be better for a while. It might be better for a while because, the right is in power right now. My only problem is I'm worried that, and look, guys, like I'm a conservative, okay? But I'm not a Republican. And I say that because I don't trust Republicans, straight up. Mm-hmm. I'll vote Republican, but I don't trust Republicans. And what I've learned is that a lot of Republicans talk a great game and have awesome sound bites and, get those little viral moments so they can get reelected in the midterms or whatever. But when it comes to actually doing anything of value, mm-hmm. They just don't. They don't do anything. They have Senate hearings and they have debates and they talk shit online, but they never actually go through with anything. Even when they have every branch of government and the presidency, it still requires Trump to bulldoze his way through the establishment to make anything happen. Mm-hmm. They're cowards. They're cowards and they're corrupt establishment stooges.
It's like, hey, Pam, arrest these pieces of shit now. get it done, get it over
Yeah,
with. Let's move the ball. You know,
move the ball. Do something of value. It takes the president of the United States to require you to finally do something. So, do I trust that this pendulum and that this problem is going to be solved? Not without like Trump and like a few people that actually care out, bulldozing their way through it. No. And worse is I'm worried that if Trump gives them too much power, they'll start doing the same thing the left is doing, but on the other side, no offense, the Republicans, but they'll do it like they did with Howard Stern and other people back in the 90s. And the laws it'll give the government more power than they have now. And then when the pendulum swings back the other way in 10 years or whatever, and the left is in control, boom, we're even worse off than we were 4 years ago. Because giving the government power is always a bad idea. So here we are again, corrupt, cowardly, establishment stooge Republicans that require Big Daddy President of the United States to tell them to demand that they actually do their job. Mm-hmm. And what happens when President Trump is gone, dude? What happens when the establishment takes back over again and the pendulum swings the other way and we give them too much control of the government? That's what I'm worried about, censorship, man. I know I went a little off topic here, but my God, these Republicans drive me nuts. 99% of what they do is just talking. Right. I don't like the left. I don't agree with the left. I think most of them are demonic, literal demonic demons from the pits of hell. But man, at least they actually fight for shit they love. At least they fight for their stupid demonic bullshit. Most Republicans don't. We just talk. And we talk. And we talk. And nothing ever happens. And then big bad President Trump comes in the office and he's like, hey guys, can we actually do something? Mm-hmm. Hello? What happens when he's gone? What happens when the MAGA movement's gone and it's back to a business as usual? I don't know, man.
We got to keep it going, Brian. We got to keep it going.
I don't know. Here's what's really I like Vance, but he's an establishment dude.
Listen,
man.
You have to stop. You have to quit because the more you rant, the more your internet is being censored and you're getting choppier.
I'm getting choppier,
and your image is getting messed up. I really feel like you're being throttled somewhere by some censor in California right now. So,
I actually have to cancel today's show. I told Matt that in the private. I have to cancel today's show. My internet's too unstable. It's unfortunate, especially considering how much money I spend for this stupid connection.
Your internet is as unstable as your mental health right now. Yeah. So there you go. All right, guys. We got Danny the Dork Knight for $2. The Dork Knight returns to Nerd Fights soon. So Nerd Fights will be coming back. And we got
Chappie. We have to start charging more for people to plug their own shit on our show, dude. It's a $20 minimum if you guys are going to plug your channel. Okay? That's just how I'm going to go.
Right. So capitalist over there, Mr. Butters.
I know, dude.
All right. Chappie for $4.99. CommiTube is assho. New Scum is assho. Salty Nerds and Chat is giga-goated.
Giga-goated!
Giga-goated. And then Chappie for another $4.99. Tug, that umbrella guy, has mentioned that he was told by someone at YouTube that winning claims insulates you from attacks like a trust meter at Brian.
Good. Oh, really?
There you go.
Can you send me that link on Discord? I've always wondered if that was the case because I have won hundreds of claims. I'm not joking, hundreds.
Nice.
And I've sat there and meticulously wrote like legal letters to every one of these people every single time. You guys don't understand. When I make a documentary, I make it, let's say a documentary about aliens. I will often be claimed by like 17 different companies for clips and music and stuff that's from the movies and TV shows or whatever, video games, whatever. And I have to fight it's not one claim per video. It's like 25 claims in a video. I have to fight every one individually. So it's nice that I've started winning them. Yeah, it must be the case. Because I put my Voyager video up. It's going on. Sorry, news. Little news report here. Little announcement. My Voyager doc is actually going up on VOD, so you'll be able to get it on like Amazon and like
really
other places. Yeah, I'm in the process of doing that. Anyways, I put it up on Vimeo, and it was instantly like blocked for copyright claims and stuff. The same video that has 1 million views on YouTube was like hella blocked everywhere else. So I don't know. I would like to see that link though, Chappie, if you could send it to me.
Yes. You know what isn't blocked is Fluffy Panda for $5. Silly Brian doesn't trust ours like a bunch of rhinos acted like conservatives just to get elected by the Tea Party movement, only to get exposed by Trump. Yeah, Brian. So there.
Yeah. I mean, at least we agree on something, Fluffy.
All right. So, guys, I want to move a little bit away from like the craziness of censorship and free speech and politics and stuff for a minute, and talk about something that I think is going to be the future of narrative storytelling, not just in Hollywood, but online as well. And this is the rise of what's called micro dramas. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this or not, but I did ask you to watch 2 videos that I sent you guys to kind of lay the foundation for what I want to talk about. And basically, micro dramas are like larger stories that are broken down into 90-second chunks, 60 to 90-second chunks, right?
Mhm.
And these things have been taken the world by storm. They started off in China, right? China. But they've been making a lot of inroads here in the States. And basically, they're following the soap opera format of at the end of every 90-second episode, there's like some type of cliffhanger or twist or reveal or something like that that makes you want to watch the next 90-second episode. And these services that are basically apps do the video game model of micropayments, so that you buy like a certain amount of in-app currency, and then you can spend that on like watching 10 more shorts or like 20 more shorts or a full season. And the way that these filmmakers do stuff is basically it's all non-union work. They spend about, I think, maximum $200,000 on one of these movies. They can knock a movie out in a week. And then the movies are broken down into these 90-second shorts that you can then binge and watch like the full series. And they've been specifically targeting like women aged like 26 to like 46 or something like that, which is the same kind of demographic that really likes the soap operas out there. But they're meeting them on the devices that they're already on, right? Which is the mobile device. And I don't know about you guys who are married, but my wife loves to spend time on the couch, just like watching these like multi-episode TikToks on her phone.
My wife too.
Not the TikToks, but yeah.
Well, TikToks are like
Instagram.
series, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, like whatever the platform of choice. But like a lot of these women, when they're like doing like chores around the house, or like they're waiting for kids to get out of school, or like they're at the doctor's office or whatever, they want quick hit stories that they can like kind of like binge on. And so that's what these apps have been kind of like catering to. And what's interesting about these apps, and Odin, I don't know if you got this far in that Colin Samir video I sent you, but the filmmaker who was being interviewed in that YouTube video basically said that the average cost per user when it comes to these apps, or like even just a single series in these apps, is $30. And he's like, how many people do you know pay $30 to go and buy a ticket at a movie theater? How many people do you know pay $30 to rent a movie on Amazon or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, not many.
And he's like, the model of this is either you're paying a subscription fee to these apps that allows you to binge whatever's on there, or you do these micro payments that over time end up equating to about $30. But because they're like a dollar here, a dollar there, like whatever, most people don't even notice how much they've spent consuming what is essentially a 90-minute movie, but it's 90 shorts essentially, right? All broken up into one, like individual 90-second shorts, 60 to 90 seconds, I should say. But this has also had some interesting impacts in Hollywood, because essentially because of the writer's strike and the lack of production being put out by Hollywood, these micro dramas have been the things that have been keeping like rank and file actors and crew members employed. And even though they're not making as much money as they would on like a union gig, they're able to do like I think it's like $1,000 a day for like a lead actor in one of these things. They shoot for 2 weeks and then they move on to like another one, right? So like they could be making $30,000 a month starring in these like little micro dramas, and
Yep.
and they're these things, they're shot vertically, so they don't need like big expensive sets, because most of it's just like a medium shot of like the actor. In fact, the director was saying like he just has different backdrops that he puts behind the actors, and he just like turns the camera around, so like he doesn't need to like do like new setups and stuff like that. But what really struck me as very interesting about this is that because these things are all based around the marketing idea of ending with like some type of cliffhanger or hook or twist or something like that, they actually have to go into production with completed scripts. Like they can't just go into production with a script that's not complete or a script that's non-existent and make it up as they go, because they have to have these specific things at every 90-second point in the filming of the show. And so like, because the fact that they have a completed script ready to go, they're able to film much more efficiently and much more quickly, and also deliver on like the value proposition of these like quick hit shorts that the people love. And it's like Hollywood has long been known to like we're just going to start production, doesn't matter if we have a script or not, right? We'll just make it up as we go. And to me, like, I feel like this is the future of filmmaking, because right now the only people that they're really catering to in terms of the audience are you know, like the women. And I also noticed that younger generations like Gen Z and Gen Alpha are more and more consuming content in this format on things like TikTok. Like for instance, I was talking with a young 20-something-year-old not too long ago, where he was talking about where he was binging Yellowstone on TikTok because somebody took these hour-long Yellowstone episodes, broke them up into like, you know, 3-minute chunks, and just published them on TikTok as like a series. And so he would just sit there and he'd watch it in vertical format on TikTok, entire hour-long episodes that ended up being like 30 episodes long, but he would just binge them on TikTok. I was like, why don't you just watch them on TV? And he's like, well, because I have this right here. Why do I need to find a TV?
This generation.
Because it's a phone. I don't know what.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of these micro dramas are formatted specifically for the phone, and they're formatted like if somebody wants to sit down and watch like a big, like, you know, movie or TV show or something like that, they'll sit down in front of their TV, they'll turn on Netflix. It's like ordering like a filet mignon at a steak restaurant as opposed to like a hamburger on the mobile phone, right? So like if they're out and about and they're like driving or they're waiting in line or something like that, they want something that they can quickly consume and like enjoy, or as opposed to actually sitting down and committing to like a TV show or a movie. But the thing is that this filmmaker who was talking about all these micro dramas that he's produced, he's like, we shoot these for $200,000 max, right? Because they're non-union, they take two weeks to film. It's like super quick turnaround time. But because the average cost per user is $30, he's like, my stupid like soap opera shorts series make $30 million on average per series. Okay, that's 1 million people paying $30 to watch a full 90 episode micro drama, and that's just one micro drama. Okay?
I hate this. I hate it.
So the business model for this thing is there, and it's so much more lucrative than spending something like $300 million on a feature film, right? And so what my theory is that once they start doing genre stuff like science fiction, fantasy, action, stuff like that to bring in the male audience, once the male audience starts adopting this format, this is going to be the next big thing, and this is going to be the future of how narrative filmmaking is made in these short, highly addictive sessions that get monetized very highly.
It's television for the Ritalin generation. It's short attention span theater, guys. It's so bad. I can't stand this. I really hate the whole concept. That's why Quibi came along a few years ago and tried to do this kind of stuff too, right? Wasn't that what they were all about? And they failed miserably.
Well,
right?
the problem with Quibi was that they were spending Hollywood budget numbers on the stuff that they were making, whereas with this, they're making them for like pennies on the dollar. And so like the margins are super high, and they're also not doing that thing where like if you turn your phone horizontal, it like changes or anything like that. It's shot vertical. And it's like it's vertical. That's it.
I mean, I know what's going through your head because it's going through my head. It's like, how can I go develop a script to make like a 30 episode thing where we can put it out on the YouTube channel and see how it goes? I mean, for real, I thought about how I could even like make that work on like the gaming channel, because Alex and I back there, we have a couple characters that we pretend to play on the podcast, these Swedish game developers that we make fun of every once in a while, and that kind of stuff. Like, but it's more like an SNL skit is how we approach that. But this format would be great for like doing something like that. But I just hate the whole concept of it. I can't stand it. But I also think maybe it's not for me. I think this is more for the younger generations who grew up with these things in their hand. I'm bad about this thing, and I didn't grow up with one of these. But I spend like 6 hours a day on the stupid thing. I don't even realize I do it, so.
But Dutch, you know what you sounded like to me when you were talking about how stupid this is?
Since I sound like an old man. I know.
Well, you sound like our parents when they were criticizing the music that we were listening to.
I totally get that. And that's why I just said, maybe this just isn't for me. My music was not for my parents. My kids' music is not for me. I can't stand this music that these young people listen to.
There's a difference though, man.
No, there's a difference. I know it sounds like we're just the old guys saying that. No. There's an objective difference. Even my own kids don't listen to the music, most of the music nowadays. Yeah. My own kids are listening to music from the 90s,
That's
bro.
True. That's very true.
But my point is that these formats are the things that are appealing to the younger generation and actually women our age and older as well. It's basically, it's not necessarily the fact that it's on the cell phone. That's just the medium, but it's basically taking stuff that's worked in soap operas for 70 years and translating it into a different format that is more easily consumed and monetized. Like, how many trash mobile games have you heard of that make like billions of dollars?
Oh,
and that's the thing too.
Microtransactions.
Look, I got another one. Doom Scroller TV. We're going to mark that on the list with Ritalin television and short attention span TV.
Well,
I don't know, man.
You also mentioned the thing that is going to keep this. They're not going to break through to a male demographic. It's not going to happen because they're too busy playing Clash. They're too busy playing mobile games. That is what consumes their life. They are not in any way like modern day young women, young girls who they are, again, all on the social media. They're all about, the girls are prominently on TikTok. Guys sometimes will take in some of that stuff from time to time, but they're much more focused on mobile gaming. Women are the one that are going to be falling into those traps. And I will say, I would actually really want to see this guy's financials, because I honestly do not believe he made actual $30 million net profit.
He didn't make it. The app did. So Odin, one of the things I didn't really outline here is the fact that you have these streaming apps like Netflix, Amazon, stuff like that, right? Yeah. Well, the apps that monetize this format are kind of like that, but for mobile. So like the biggest one is called Reel Shorts, REEL Shorts. And they're the ones who monetize this stuff, because basically you pay for in-app currency. It's a lot like a mobile game in that sense. And then you can spend that in-app currency on watching whatever it is you want to watch that's on the app. And they basically sequentialize these things. They put out the first couple things on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever for free, just to get people into the funnel. But then once they download the app and they're in the ecosphere, so to speak, they're spending money on this stuff left and right. And so it's actually it's these apps that are putting up the budgets for these movies and are collecting all the revenue for them. And the filmmaker himself, when he says, like, I made these series that make like $30 million a piece, he doesn't actually, like, he just gets paid a salary for that. But it's these apps that get that money.
Well, you also brought up something too, where it's like, okay, they put a couple of episodes out on TikTok. Well, it's not for free because that's ad supported. So again, I would actually like to see the financials of this, because I'm wondering how much of this is them trying to like balloon what their net worth is, when the reality is, oh no, like they are making money off of that platform, because there's obviously always going to be people willing to spend money on worthless crap. But you have to remember, right, they're probably also getting a fair amount of money from like ad sales on the TikTok portion.
I'm sure that they're making ad revenue, but the idea is that they're putting it out there so that people don't have to pay to see like the first couple of things to get them addicted and then move them over to the app. And I believe the app also has like a certain amount of like freebies that you can watch like per series and stuff along those natures. But it's essentially just like a Netflix app on your phone, but it's for like this specific type of content. It's actually, the business model is actually like very interesting to me, because they're just taking the mobile gaming model and transferring it to content consumption. And one of the interesting things in the Colin Samir video that I link, which you can also find in the description, is that they had a discussion about how they believe the future of content is moving away from an ad-supported model to an audience-supported model, which is what this thing is specifically addressing, where basically, like, instead of relying on ad revenue to make your money, basically audiences directly supporting you is going to be the future of content monetization.
Like super chats and
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like on YouTube, like we do. Yeah. I can
Yeah,
see
but
that.
if YouTube ever instituted like a microtransaction model, right, where it's like if you want to watch this video, it's like 99 cents or something
Mhm.
along those lines. Like, how many people, like if you had 1 million people do that, you'd make $1 million, right? Or like 500,000 because of the YouTube split or like something like that. But the microtransaction model, because you can like niche it down very cheap, is actually a lot more profitable for creators. But Brian, I want to read you the titles of some of these things, and you tell me what you think. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is on Real Shorts, and this is like the top app for these microdramas. So I had a baby without you. You fired a tech genius. The Alpha King and his virgin bride. Move aside. I'm the final boss. It's like the billionaire married a homeless chick. I had a baby without you.
Riveting entertainment there.
Yeah, these are all, you know what these remind me of? These remind me of those books you used to see at the grocery store when we were kids that our moms would buy and squirrel into their purse.
Ex-convict nanny and billionaire single dad.
Yeah.
The double life of my billionaire husband. So like this is all basically just like romance novel trash.
Yeah, they're like romance novel trash. Yeah.
I fell in love with the Mexican weather girl.
Well, you know what's funny is I'm actually working on a project right now for one of these exact movies that are
really?
broken up in shorts. Yeah.
Did not know
And
this.
if you saw the picture, so it's a romance. It's about a poor farm girl that runs an Airbnb, and a billionaire comes to her Airbnb. And the poor farm girl, the plain poor farm girl, she cleans up nice, you know. And I'm not talking shit. Like the writer and the director of this is a good person, and she's great. Like, she gave me a gig. That's great. But when I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh my God, this is like soap opera trash. And then it's funny how you talk about this, because she brought this up to me, and she goes, "Oh, I'm making this movie. I would like you work with like the posters and the graphics and all that for the IMDb and all that." I'm like, cool, yeah. And then when I realized that like 90% of the videos she was sending me for her trailer were all vertical, I'm like, why is everything vertical? She goes, oh, well, we film it in like with this camera that is square, and we cut the vertical out because it's going to be on a vertical platforms and like these shorts. And I realized that I'm working on a project that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And it's totally just soap opera trash. Absolutely.
And you know, I've had conversations with my wife about this, because I asked Jude, I was like, have you ever watched any of these things? And she's like, oh yeah, they're so bad and silly, but like they're so addictive, like we can't get enough of them. And there seems to be like something that these things trigger in women, where it's like, it's so bad it's good. It's like a guilty pleasure type thing. But you know, my point was that if a lot of these short apps were to figure out a way to crack into the male market, to give us something that's better than Star Trek or Star Wars in this format, to give us something that's better than Rings of Power in this format, you know, stuff like that, that would get men into this type of storytelling, this type of format of content, that's when this thing will hit critical mass and basically blow up. It reminds me a lot of like what Twitter was like at the very beginning, back in 2008, 2009, where they came out and they're like, we're a microblogging platform. Because before, you just had like website blogs where you had to like write like these long articles and you had to sit there and read them. But the microblogging model was basically short, quick hits, where it was just like, you know, like 140 characters, you know, you write this, people read it, they're able to consume a lot. It's these quick hits. And it feels like that's the same type of thing for this type of model that hasn't really been embraced by Hollywood or most filmmakers quite yet. But the fact that it's doing the use case for monetization, where like you can actually make really good money making content like this, and YouTube is like introducing some aspects that allow you to kind of like serialize like shorts and like help people like consume like series of shorts and stuff like that. To me, it feels like we're right on the cusp of something like this blowing up. But I want to get Odin's more detailed take on
real
this
quick before you go to Odin. My friend, though, to be fair, even though I think this content is garbage and trash, and I think that's stupid to watch 90-second vertical movies on your phone.
Which means it's
stupid.
going to be super successful.
Which it might be. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
But my friend, she has been trying to break into the entertainment industry for like 15 years. She's done everything. She's done Disney commercials. She's directed. She's written. She's everything. And she can never really break it. She's done projects for big companies, but never really get to where she needs. This is the first project that she's actually done where like she's handsomely paid for. She's not operating on a shoestring budget. Like she's actually paid well to do this. The actor friends that have been making this, that have been making content with her for 15 years are actually being paid really well to create this content that maybe it's vapid and stupid, but at least she gets to make it. And the people that have been working for 15 years trying to break in this industry are actually making money instead of just typical shoestring, shorts that they used to do for Disney. So I got to give them that credit.
Vapid and stupid describes 99% of all television entertainment.
I mean, to be fair, I like vapid, stupid stuff too.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Odin, in terms of like the economics of this, like what do you think about it? Do you think that this is going to be the next big thing when it comes to like Hollywood production?
At this point, I honestly don't. As I mentioned before, I've got a lot of doubts about the financials of this. It's not that people don't use microtransactions, right? That is a fact, especially when it comes to a lot of these apps, especially games. But that's the other thing too, right? Is that it's for guys, it's the games, and there are absolutely microtransactions that will come forward from that, and people will spend on it because they feel like they're actually getting something for it. You might be able to say there's an equivalency for women when it comes to content like this because they feel like they are getting something that they find to be worth it as well. But it's hard for me to actually see them going all the way to spend as much money as it says that they are spending. As I said, I still have a lot of questions about the financials of this and the financial claims that they're making. It sounds to me more like a group trying to make its value higher than what it actually is by combining different metrics together, whether it be ad revenue from TikTok, amongst other things. Obviously, it could easily blow up into a real thing. Honestly, though, it just feels like something that even if it does, it won't last very long because if the quality of the content is bad, then it won't have enough staying power. I mean, you look at a lot of these games, right? Every now and then there's like a random game that pops up, but if it's not good, people stop playing it very, very quickly. It's only the games that are actually, well designed, the games that actually, want to give people something that they find worth playing for, that actually stick around and actually, can be profitable in any capacity. So I have a lot of doubts about the financials of this.
If you look at, soap operas for the last 75 years, right?
Yeah.
Their production value is not very good. Their stories are oftentimes like crazy or stupid or like whatever, acting's over the top, but people are addicted to them. And so like when you have that addictive quick hit nature, there's this kind of like built-in monetization pathway where like people are willing to pay like $1 or $2 just to keep watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Some the big difference is that soap operas were also available on free TV. Right, that's terrestrial TV. You don't have to pay cable to access television. That either.
Well, you're also getting like the first 10 or so episodes for free on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or like whatever the case may be.
And that's why I said they're going to get some people to pay after the fact. But I think a lot of people, once they're like, oh, I have to pay this amount for each one, I think a lot more people look at that and say no thanks, or find another way to find it for free somehow. I mean,
well, but
honestly,
they also have the subscription model, right? Where they pay like $20-$30 a month and then they can watch all this stuff like as much as they want for free, essentially included in their subscription. But Brian, I want to throw this to you because with the advent of AI, you can make science fiction in this kind of format very cheaply and quickly. Like you don't need and in fact, you can hire one actor to play all the parts and just reskin him using AI.
True. That's true. Yeah.
So you don't even need like a huge cast or like whatever.
Guys, we got to start making science fiction 90-minute shorts.
Or epic fantasy or like whatever. So so the question becomes is like, as the AI technology improves and becomes more readily available and cheaper, is there a pathway to create content that men like us would actually want to consume in this format?
Yeah, the only problem is I don't want to sit there and look at my phone for an hour and a half.
But you're not. Right, like you're looking at it for like maybe 5 minutes to 10 minutes.
Okay, right, maybe Brian? There is, especially with AI. Like you can do especially think about this. The phone is so much more forgiving. You got 1080p 4K graphics when you go to make your cool spaceship come into frame and fire phasers at, you know, the Klingon shuttle or whatever, like, it's going to be really obvious if it doesn't look right. I make motion graphics for a lot of our docs, and I'm often not happy with the final result, but I'm like, well, I can't spend another 7 hours working on this effect. It's good enough. Well, you know what? If someone was watching, and my brother said this, he goes, they're probably watching on a phone. They're not going to notice that, like, the color is off and stuff like that. And I think he's right. And so when you're playing, if you're able to do graphics for these big epic, you know, all these, you know, short epic sci-fi thrillers or fantasy thrillers, I bet you it's a lot more forgiving because you're watching it on a phone with a tiny little pixel.
And there's less real estate on the vertical end, so like you don't have to generate as much. You don't have to be as consistent.
That's a really good point, bro. Maybe we should start a channel of shorts for that, bro. I have the processing power. I'm just saying.
The filmmaker that was interviewed for the Colin Samir show, he basically said, like, look, every shot's almost a medium shot, right? It's like waist up to headroom,
right?
And it's like, you know, you don't even notice the background most of the time. So he's like, we're able to shoot these things super fast because it's all just like medium shots of people talking, and I think that when it comes to like AI stuff, whether it be for action movies or genre film, like science fiction and fantasy, it's like you could just have like a blurred out like JPEG background on a lot of these people, as long as like it's consistent, you know, and it looks appropriate.
Yeah, I think, you know, I want.
And with NVIDIA broadcast, you can keep it consistent.
What people, I don't know if people quite understand this, because they're not taking like movies and chopping them up into 90-second clips and putting those things out. These are fully scripted 90-second episodes that moves on to the next one. Each episode, especially in these soap opera ones, there's a cliffhanger to every single 90-second clip.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're just taking an episode or taking Star Wars and chopping the 90-second clips.
Yeah, it's scripted for 90 seconds.
It's scripted for 90 seconds, which is goofy and crazy, but I don't know.
Oftentimes a lot of these cliffhangers, it's just like a surprise look with a music stinger, you know, like it's not like a true like you know, cliffhanger or twist or something like that.
Yeah.
But what was crossing my mind when it comes to this stuff in terms of like audience funded creator stuff is that, like, let's say you do like a Star Trek version of like, you know, one of these micro dramas, and you do like one season of them, which is like 90 episodes or whatever. And then at the end of the season, you ended on this huge cliffhanger, and you're like, hey, in order to do season 2, we need to raise like $250,000 or something like that. Like go to our GoFundMe here, or go to our Kickstarter here, and you know, give us money if you want to keep seeing more of this stuff. And I feel like that would be a good way for like young filmmakers who maybe don't have the money to make like a feature-length film or the ability to distribute it, could actually like create really innovative like short-form storytelling efforts and get them out there.
The longer this conversation's going, the more my brain's starting to turn around.
And
I don't really like that, but you know, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking with you, Matt. And I think it's time for us to start another channel with sci-fi shorts. But really quick, I want to rebuild something Odin said. He said I have to. I'm sorry, but he doesn't fully believe like the financials. The thing is, and I get what you're saying, I remember people not believing the microtransactions for games like 8 years ago, like as early as 8 years ago. Oh, well, there's no way they're making that much in microtransactions. Well, when games like Valorant and Dota 2, Counter-Strike, you know, even Dutch Butter's favorite game, Helldivers, like the microtransactions are insane. Buying a digital skin for your gun or a change to change the way a character looks. Adult men have spent thousands of dollars on this, and their justification I'm one of them too. The justification is, well, it's my hobby. There's people that spend thousands and thousands of dollars on bowling or going out to the desert or
I tell my wife, I go, I could easily be spending this money at the bar down the street. So
right, yeah. So, but look up here. Look at. See all those plaques, you guys?
Yeah,
see all those plaques? That's from Dota 2. Only way you get a plaque is by spending about $1,000 a year during the international. That's 8,000, 9,000, and I got one in the mail. That's at least $10,000 over the last
You're a
13 years.
madman.
But I do want to address what Odin brought up with that real quick, which is basically it's not the apps and stuff that are coming out and giving us these numbers. So like this was a interview with a filmmaker who basically has access to some of these metrics, at least for like his own stuff, where he basically said like, look, I know what budget I had to work with. It was $200,000 put up by this app. I delivered them, this 90-minute movie that they then edited down into 90-second shorts, and 1 million people watched it. And I know that the average cost or average spend of the average user on these apps is about $30. And so like, it's a little bit of Zack Snyder math, but at the same time, it's not like they're going out there and bragging about this stuff. They actually keep the numbers very close to their chest. Just so happens this guy knew this metric for the specific series, and that's what he shared. And so like, I don't know, like the whole thing about them misrepresenting it isn't quite, I think, the case. But
I'm just saying I had questions. That's all I said.
They probably film these things on like iPhones too, right?
No, they use professional cameras.
Okay.
It's like they
do.
But they use professional cameras.
You probably could use an iPhone though.
No, there's actually you could, but there's a camera that actually it shoots like a square aspect ratio. There's a camera that has like a square aspect ratio, and so you can actually in post adjust the vertical or horizontal framing. And,
yeah, but Brian, what these guys do is they actually use like professional grade RED cameras and just turn them sideways.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry. They just turn it sideways, like the gangsters in the.
Yeah.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Instead of just having it be like straightforward, like horizontal, they just turn it sideways, and then they frame it like that, and then in post they just rotate it 90 degrees and do all the editing that way.
But it's a RED camera. Why wouldn't you just zoom out 0.3 and crop?
Because you get better framing that way, I guess. I don't know.
That's
literally what they do. A lot of TikTokers do that too, where when they get like professional grade cameras, they just turn them sideways.
But you don't have to. It's 8K, like
Brian,
super high density packed pixels.
Because it's
you
a
can
gimmick,
just zoom
man.
out 0.3 and then crop. Oh my god, fucking TikTokers do. They just ruin everything. Ruin everything.
TikTokers.
You know who doesn't ruin stuff are super chatters. We got Chappie for 199, and this is in response to Brian. I'll see, but it was a random live stream in regards to that umbrella.
Thanks,
guys,
Chappie.
Thing. Hemorrhoid Hurts for Australian $2. Good morning, old friends. It's been a while. Yes, good morning to you too, Hemorrhoid. Good to see you. We got John Yulden, Brian's boyfriend, for £4.99. Are these the same mini movies that have started popping up on X as well, Matt? I don't know about X because I haven't really seen these things, but they're very popular on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. But it's really these apps. Like once you download these apps and you get access to the full library of like everything that's on there, like dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, John, it is though. So a lot of those are ads though. So the ads are targeted to try to get you to click to go download an app. And the ad I always get is the one where it's like, Jonathan had superpowers. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm listening. Hold up. And it's like, but the girl he loved, I'm like, oh, I'm out. It looks like I always get the same ad that starts off with superpowers or this new technology, but then it always like drags me into some kind of romance angle. And within 30 seconds, I'm gone from the ad. But I can see how their algorithm is constantly targeting people to go and download these apps. You know what? As much as I hate this, I'm actually seeing the draw here, Matt. I'm actually smelling an opportunity. I got the processing power. You got the writing ability. We can actually make some pretty cool sci-fi movies and 90-second shorts and make some dough here, Matt. I'm saying. I got 4 computers in here all hooked up to AI. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's why I think that this is kind of the future of narrative filmmaking, is because it's not the same as going to a movie theater and watching like a 2-hour film or something like that, but neither sitting down and watching reruns of Seinfeld, so like there's sometimes you just feel in the mood for like a quick greasy hamburger, right, as opposed to like a fully like steak meal. Hemorrhoid Hurts for another $2 Australian. Subbed with bell on, but YouTube won't show you as live. Yes, that's because YouTube hates Brian. They want to censor him. They want to silence his voice.
Brian's fault.
It's all Brian's fault.
It's my fault. My fault.
All right, guys. Well, we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. I want to thank you all for tuning in to yet another episode of Stuff That Nobody Cares About. Odin from O&B Reviews, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Yeah, you can find me over at OMB Reviews on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter/X as well. Always fun having conversations with you guys on this weekend, though this last topic definitely just has me rolling my eyes because I don't, maybe it is because I'm too detached, but I just, being someone who works with the Utes, I don't see any of them doing this. I see them on TikTok. I see them on free streaming platforms that you can just scroll right through, not paying money for. And because the other thing too is when you're having to pay money, it's now adding an extra step, so you don't get that instant dopamine hit. So I think that's also a thing that can just logically keep it behind as well. And then the guys are not doing that; they're just playing games instead. So I just don't really see it. But other final thoughts would just be I'm turning 37 tomorrow, which is insane.
Hey,
I just
happy
can't.
birthday.
Wow,
Yeah, I know.
old man over here.
I'll be 37. I'm not old.
Well, he
You
is
seem
the
very old to
all-father,
me,
so-
Odin.
You could call me man. Could
The
say
all,
Dennis.
yeah, we're gonna
No,
change you
you're
to the
called
all.
Dennis.
You're now the all grandfather.
Yes. You need to have a rocking chair on your front lawn where you can like scream at kids as
Get
they
off
walk
my
by.
lawn.
Get
Get off my lawn.
Wait, have you heard about Jesus? Come back.
Yeah.
All right. Brian from the Popcast, I know that you said that the Brain Show has been summarily canceled for today. What's
Yeah,
going on?
guys. Yeah, this whole stream, my internet's been, quote unquote, according to StreamYard's, unstable. So I ran something called a latency test. You can actually run this test yourself at s80.us. And what happened is, during the latency test, I'm getting spikes of about 10,000 ms, which is why my camera quality has been going down and down. And there's no way I can do a live stream under these conditions. While we were on stream, I contacted Spectrum, and they'll be out on Monday. So maybe we'll do a
Did you do
Tuesday
that while
show.
you were peeing?
I haven't peed yet. Because
But hey, Brian, now you can enjoy your afternoon. So
Yeah.
take the afternoon off.
that's not how it works, bro.
Go
I'm
touch some
married.
grass.
I'm
Go
married
touch
with
some grass,
children.
bro.
Enjoying
That's
my
all right.
afternoon is doing a stream. When I leave this office, I have to be dad and husband / slave.
Well, you know what? Go play some Dota or something.
Yeah, maybe I'll just stay in here and act like I'm
dude.
streaming.
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
There you go.
Yes, I can't play Dota. The internet's too bad.
Oh, that's
I'll just, you know what, dude? I'll surf those apps and start
go.
watching romance
There you
novels.
go. Yep, there you
We're
go.
gonna start brainstorming script ideas.
But guys,
Well-
next week our documentary comes out on the Popcast, our latest one, and I want you guys to please go check out the Popcast, POPCAST, because it is not something we've ever covered before. And like I was telling Dutch before, when we talk about a movie or a TV show that is outside of our normal, realm, it takes a long time to catch on. But I think that you guys will like this documentary. It's an 80s cult classic.
Cool.
Yeah, and because the Brain Show has been canceled, we're going to be moving you guys over to Mephisto's movie reviews after the stream's over. So they're going to be covering The Sandlot today, so be sure to stay tuned and check that out. Mr. Butters, what's going on the gaming channel this week?
Well, I discussed this earlier, but we're playing a lot of games. We're making content. We're doing like 3 videos a week. I'm streaming like 4 or 5 nights a week after work, and we're just growing a community over there. We're doing Helldivers, we're doing Jump Space, and we're getting ready to get into Battlefield 6. A lot of new stuff coming out. So we're just, doing our thing, having fun. Come join us. Good stuff, man.
Yep. Speaking of doing your thing, we got Tim Hayes, a member for 3 months, who comes in and says, Hail, Tim.
Hail.
I want to give a big shout out to everyone who donated during the course of the stream. Mephisto's movie reviews, thank you so much. Anita, Amanda, Huggin' Kissin' Lips, The Dork Knight, Fluffy Panda, Chappie, Hemorrhoid Hurts, John Yulden. Thank you guys so much for your support. Always appreciate you.
Hey,
guys
good luck to
throwing
John.
stuff.
He's going outside of his country on a trip. Okay, safe travels, my dude. Please don't get killed.
Yeah, might want to stay out of your country considering all the stuff that's going on over there.
Yeah, maybe just stay in Italy or wherever you're going.
Yeah. No, just get out of Europe. Just leave Europe.
Just leave
completely.
Europe. Leave
Yeah,
Europe.
Yeah,
Dude, I got a couch you can crash on. Come over here.
All right, I got to get going.
exactly. All
Later,
right, guys.
Dutch.
See you later.